This is a testimony that'll have Christians and believers punching the air right now. On January 19th, I had a near-death experience in a fire that was caused due to negligence. This was on the news. 5 of us were injured. We went to the hospital and 4 cats were dead. Now, the reason why this fire happened is because my mom wasn't following updated property rental guidelines so people can live in a safe home. Now, I want to make this one thing really clear about my mom. She is heavily religious. She believes in Jesus. She is a follower of God. She is a woman of God. Now, I'm an anomaly in the family. I'm a non-believer. I'm anti-religious. I do not believe in that shit anymore. I know for a fact that it isn't real. I don't just disbelieve. I know for a fact that none of that shit is real. So let's make that clear before we carry on into this testimony. You would think that a situation like this would make me pray to God or transform my belief and change my life. Because the average Christian and believer in Jesus Christ would take this situation and be like, God saved me. Oh, God did a miracle. And so many Christians came up to me with near-death experiences with a bullshit. Well, guess what? I got a near-death experience too. And this is not what that is. I may have survived, yes. But one thing Christians like to do is say, oh, you could have been burned. You could have died. We're not going to use the fact that I could have died as an excuse to dismiss my testimony. For Christians and believers, they see this survival as a way of God saving them in a miracle. But for me, this was a definitive moment of how ignorant, stupid, and foolish Christians and bigots can really fucking be. So let's go back a couple of months. And like I said before, this fire was not on purpose, but it definitely was not by accident. So my mom was renting rooms out to people, and she had some property issues that she needed to address. And I got on her about that. There was stuff like leaking walls, structure issues, heating issues, faulty wiring. And my mom is ghetto. She would do ghetto shit. She would heat her rooms up with candles. She would use portable propane stoves to heat her fucking area up. And I've confronted my mom about this on multiple occasions. Now, my mom's a narcissist. She would always argue back and never take accountability for her actions. It don't matter if you was right. It don't matter if it's evidence right in front of her. She would always justify her decisions with the Bible and her religious rhetoric. Now, when I turned 18, I made it clear to my father, my grandma, my sister, my mom, that I am anti-religious and I am certain that all of this shit is bullshit and it is not working out for our lives. Now, my mom has always been a piece of shit even before I turned anti-religious. She just got worse and worse over the years, taunting me with her religious rhetoric. But the thing about my mom is she's stupid, like dangerously stupid. And the thing is, it's because she thinks she's doing something right because she's a believer and follower of Jesus Christ and God. Now, as I said, I've argued with her about the faulty wiring, the issues in the house that she needed to take care of. And this has been going on for years. My mom always taught me that God gives you signs. God warns you. God sends you messages through people. God operates in mysterious ways. Listen to God. As a survivor of Christianity and a current knower of God's fictional status, you would think that I'm God in this situation, because this fire could have been prevented if my mom would have listened to me. The faulty wiring and the heater was literally the reason this house caught on fire. You know, every time I had a dream and told my mom about it, my mom would say, God is trying to show you something. And I assure you, I definitely had a dream about this house catching on fire twice. I want y'all to pay attention to this testimony because Christians and believers and followers of God's throw this shit under the rug. This is literally the ultimate irony. Here I am, a non-believer, an anti-religious person, fulfilled the role of the very things that she preached about. God's signs and warnings. She would never ever listen to me when I told her about the faulty wiring and the heating issues. God working in mysterious ways. I'm an anti-religious person, a former Christian who survived Christianity, and I'm telling her, a religious person, that she needs to do these things, and she didn't listen to me, all because I'm not religious like her. God operating through people. I'm a non-believer telling a Christian what they need to hear. That's God working in mysterious ways. I gave her the signs, the warnings, and her ignorance, all because she thought that she was doing God's work, led to all of us almost getting fucking killed. This is the type of discrimination within believers and spiritual people that I have to face. This is an experience that a Christian would claim that God saved them from. But in this story, in this testimony, this just exposes how ignorant and sick you motherfuckers could really be. I literally fulfilled a fucking prophecy as a non-believer. This is a testimony of the non-believer that Christians do not want to hear. And this is a real life example, a real experience, not a dream, not a fucking made up story, not a fucking biblical fucking Bible verse. This is a real near death experience with real fucking proof of a non believer. And you know what's even more fucked up? Christians and believers watching this video, they're still not even focused on the insanity within their religion and belief systems. They're still concerned about converting me over to following Jesus Christ. They're corrupt and it blinds them from real fucking world problems. In this situation, I've also learned that believers only listen to what they want to hear, not the facts. That's why they come at science and say it's irrelevant. That's why they come at facts and what you see, which is irrelevant. They say those things are not real. They only listen to what is relevant to their experience and their belief systems. This is how corrupt Christianity and being religious or spiritual can get you. If they would have listened to the non-believer, the only non-believer in the house, this probably wouldn't have happened. And don't give me that you don't know that shit. You could have died shit. Don't use the fact that I could have died as a way to dismiss my testimony. Don't use the fact that I could have died and other people could have died to dismiss the fucking accountability that needs to be held in the Christian and believer community. Because that's exactly what they do. Like, I know how Christians operate. I've experienced this thousands of times. I know how you guys talk. I know how you guys think. I know what you're going to say. All believers do is deflect and convert. They don't listen to facts. They don't take criticism, even if it almost gets people killed. All the injuries that I got from this fire was an injury on my big toe, a small burn on my arm, and a burn on my middle finger. Let me mystify things like religious people do and Christians and followers of Jesus Christ. Let me show you how a Christian would view this. I remember how my mom would say, "Oh, things have meaning. God gives you signs." What does this injury mean? Why my middle finger? Maybe this middle finger injury was a big fuck you to my mom for not listening to me when I told her what she needed to hear to prevent this fire from happening. They say God works in mysterious ways, but when shit gets real and it's coming out the mouth of a disbeliever and a non-believer, they stuck on stupid. I remember when my mom said things like, "God got us, we'll be okay, you're just complaining, this, that." Bitch, God was talking to you the whole motherfucking time. But you didn't listen because it was coming from a person who knows for a fact that he doesn't exist. I may know he doesn't exist, but I still understand the concept that they preach about. And it's crazy how they don't put their faith to practicality. God, on my mom's perspective, was trying to show her something through me. I can already hear the backlash and excuses that Christians are going to make to try and take this testimony and transform it into their fucking biblical belief system. They always do. And they both were named Will and Samora. Keep in mind, the saddest part is these two cats literally had two baby kittens 3 days before this fire happened. When I came back into the house after the fire, they were all crushed by the wood. That had me depressed for weeks. This also taught me that believers don't follow God's word. They pick and choose what God's word is, even if it almost gets them or other people killed. Now, it doesn't matter to me because simple common sense would tell you to take care of certain things before it goes wrong. But that doesn't exist in the believer community. It's all about forcing their beliefs, being ignorant and arrogant to what people criticize them about. Believers always think they're right, even if God works in mysterious ways and gives them a message through a non-believer. Even if God gives them signs through a non-believer. Even if God tries to show them something through a non-believer. In this story, God didn't save me. He showed my mom what happens when she doesn't listen to him when he's operating in mysterious ways. And the sad part is many other people are going through the same things that Christians do to them over and over, and they're just not saying anything about it because they have to face the discrimination and backlash of Christians not holding themselves accountable for the ignorance and fallacies within their belief system. Share this. They do not want to hear this testimony.